All right, and the last thing I want to say about the octave displacement idea is if you really like that kind of concept, there's a bunch of I'm sure there's things online that you can research. But if you really like it and you like the way we teach it, we're going to do a whole lesson on that kind of thing because there's so many ways to use that concept with licks you already know, with creating new licks, with creating melodies like in this song. So stick around. We will definitely post when we have that up. And it's going to be a really cool series of lessons. So on to the next concept. The next thing I wanted to touch on is, again, when you look at these solos or melodies or anything, you want to pull things out of it, little concepts. And one of them is this whole sliding, going up and down in fifths, sliding whole steps and half steps. You could use that same concept of this melody in, say, something simple. You start with the pentatonic scale, then you move into major or minor scales, some of your modes. You get into more maybe diminished or melodic minor or anything like that. So just let's take the A minor pentatonic, right? Everybody knows this. Right? Something like that. So what you can do is take the concept of sliding around. You're sliding all these notes in the melody. Well, just take that in your pentatonic shape and maybe use two shapes. So you have this one and then this shape. Right? It's the first and second position of A minor pentatonic. And just use those notes and start sliding around. I mean, if you want to limit yourself, you can just use one pattern. We'll start out with that. So let's just limit ourselves to the first shape to start out. Right? And that's just sliding up and down notes going from one string to the next. Now, if you start looking at like adding the second shape so you can have more movement, you could do something like, just do the octave of the first note. Then slide up to the next note in the pentatonic scale. Then go to the next note down here and slide back to that first pattern. Now you're just sliding up pentatonic things. Then you go down an octave, say. Again, you're just trying to find the notes in the pentatonic scale and slide up one, slide back down, skip a string, skip two strings, and just keep sliding around like that. And you'll come up with some really cool things. And don't just, maybe do it to a metronome or do it to a point where you're hearing really cool interval skips and melodies as opposed to just doing it and getting your fingers used to doing that, which that's kind of a cool thing too, because the more your fingers get used to sliding in and out of these notes, the easier it is to just insert this concept into your own soloing. So now the last idea I want to talk about is like one of these licks that are in this solo, or actually two of the licks. I love the concept of him doing this pivoting off of the note kind of thing. Right? Just... you can just keep doing that, walking down chromatically and finding the notes to pivot off of that are in the scale. So this is just all chromatics on the B string, right? But you're taking 2, 3, 4 notes, then going up to a scale tone. Right? Very cool little concept. And do it on all different strings. Now, the other cool little idea, I love that little arpeggio that he does. So he does this. Right, that kind of thing. So that little arpeggio, you could use, say he's playing that over an E chord, which I think he is, the E major chord. If you see what he's doing, he's playing the major third and the fifth to the dominant 7. Then he's playing the 9th, and then he's playing the 11th over E. Then he goes up an E major arpeggio chromatically to an E major arpeggio. these three notes, right? So you have... So now what I would do is take that idea, and you could steal that whole lick if you want. Like if you're playing over an A dominant chord, you have... Right? Right? You basically stole that whole thing. So take little tiny concepts like that and use them in your own playing, and you'll get a lot of mileage out of it, I think. So hope you like that. All right, so there's actually one more thing I want to throw into this lesson. This is turning into probably an 80-parter. It's probably going to take you 6 weeks to get through this, but if you're here, that means you're 5 weeks into it, so I hope you're enjoying yourself. What I just wanted to touch on is something that we've touched on before. Again, it's how I analyze. When I break these things down, I try and analyze not everything note for note, what interval it is, but I like to get an understanding of why certain things sound a certain way. And one of the things is why certain notes that are being played over certain chords, you know, is that a third? Or because I really like, I'm trying to train my ear to hear intervals. So when I hear something and there's a chord being played underneath it, I know immediately, okay, if that's an A major chord and there's a C sharp being played, then I know it's a major third. Like I want to be able to immediately hear, because I don't have perfect pitch. I think I have pretty good relative pitch, but again, this just helps in that ear training thing without having to do ear training, you know, studying ear training and just sitting there and listen to intervals and listen to scales. And I never was good at ear training that way. So this is my way of developing my ear even better. So anyway, that being said, the beginning of this, you know, it starts out with those bends, that solo. It's playing this note, then it's going down to this note, and it's bending up a whole step. So then it's going down a whole step and doing that same thing, right? So those notes, just to analyze those notes, it's, again, without the bends, it's essentially playing this. Right? But it's got that weird, that slow, gradual bend. But essentially it's playing, right? And then this note's being bent up a whole step to this. Then sliding down to that note. So the first bends are being played over an E major chord. Right? And what that is, it's playing a sixth down to a fifth, bending back up to a sixth, and then gradually going back down to that fifth over E. Then it goes to an F sharp minor chord, right? And it's doing this bend. And that's basically taking a minor third, so you're over a minor chord, you're starting on the minor third, raising up to the fourth or the 11th, and bending back down to the minor third. And of course the minor third's a strong chord tone. Then it takes this note and it bends up a step and a half up to this note, which is an A note. And that's being played over an A chord. Right? Perfect transition from, you know, landing on a root note again. So then when it goes to that, when it's sliding from this note to this note, that's being played over a D major chord. And you're going from this note, which is a sharp 4, which is kind of a Lydian kind of thing. You know, Steve Vai, I always say that. He made that famous. But then it slides immediately down to that major third, which again is a very, besides the root, your third, whether it's major or minor, really determines the chord. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that. That's again how I analyze these notes. I don't do it for the whole thing, but I like to do it for certain sections to really see what's going on, because then I can take this, and this bending lick I know will sound great if I start like on this note, which again over F sharp minor is the 11th. If I bend from the major third or the minor third to that 11th and back down, over a minor chord, it's going to sound really cool. So then I try and figure it out in different keys over different songs, yada, yada, yada. So I hope that helps. And yeah, I think that's it. All right, guys. So I hope you really enjoyed that. I hope you got a lot out of it. I know it was long. Some of these long lessons kind of get out of control, but there's just so much to teach. And especially when it's very notey, 1,016th notes. I mean, it's kind of a struggle to get through. But once you do, and you learn the concepts, you're good to go, I think. Anyway, with that being said, thank you again for watching and sitting through all these videos. We really appreciate you guys. Again, all the comments. We're really building, in 11 months, we've built a really cool community. People, I mean, we recognize you guys when you comment over and over again. It makes us feel great that you guys are actually sticking with us, because it says we're kind of doing something right, I guess. And we also want to, again, thank everybody that's gone over to the website and donated. I mean, that's something that we totally didn't expect. In doing all this, we never even thought about that. And then we got a bunch of people asking, hey, is there any way we could support you besides subscribing or thumbs up or all that kind of stuff? And then some people suggested, can we donate to you or something like that? And we found out. So we made a little donation button. You can go over to the website and do that. But it's just overwhelming, because it's one of these things that we didn't expect, and it definitely reinforces the fact that we think we're doing something that's being well received. So thank you again for that. If you haven't, you can go over to the website and donate. But definitely keep coming back, guys. Checking out guitarbreakdown.com. It will be up. We have so many plans we're trying to build this community, and again, it's just really cool seeing all you guys getting included, and coming back, commenting all the time, and asking us questions and stuff. So we got a lot more special events coming up. We got the Scott Henderson Creep and Terror lesson that a lot of people have been continually asking about, and it just kind of got pushed back. But it's coming up, and probably the next lesson we're going to record is that one. And we have a Holdsworth lesson that's been requested several times, and we have another guest artist that's coming in that I hope you guys, I know you guys are going to really like, because we've done a lesson on some of his stuff, and you guys have really enjoyed that. So, and then we got 2 more Phil X videos with lessons that we're editing right now, and we have a whole bunch of interview stuff we're trying to sift through and get up. So I hope you guys stick around, and I will see you guys on the next lesson. All right, thanks.